Hi friends, Allison here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm dropping in today with another new scrapbooking layout. This layout is a mixed media layout and it's also very clean and simple. So I began with paper tearing some papers that were in my stash. They are a mix of Photo Play and Close to My Heart, the two that I'm working with right now anyways. I used my Creative Memories paper tearing tool. I've had that tool in my stash forever and it's honestly one of my favorite tools. I keep going back to it time and time again. I will never stop using it. I'm just using my tape runner to adhere those two strips of paper together, and they are being adhered to the bottom portion of the layout in the bottom third roughly. I trimmed off the excess because I trimmed my white cardstock down to 11 3/4 by 11 3/4. It is going to be matted onto some neutral cardstock. It's I think it's almond I used, and it's from Close to My Heart. You can see me here just distressing the edges. I don't have a distressing tool. It is actually something that is on my personal wish list. And if you're like me and don't have a distressing tool, you can use scissors to achieve the same look. So that's what I did here. If you are looking for one, FYI, I just found it in the Scrapbook Nerd shop, as well as some other tools that are on my wish list. So one of these days I will be ordering one, but definitely go check out Scrapbook Nerd if you want one in your stash. I'll leave the link in the description box down below to get you there if you're interested in doing that. I also stitched around my layout base, the white layout base. I used a light yellow embroidery floss, and I used all 6 strands from that floss to do my stitching. I also stitched the frame that the photo was adhered on top of. I didn't stitch it at first because I could have sworn I had a wood grain embossing folder in my stash, but I don't. My plan originally had been to emboss the brown frame and give it a wood grain look, but that plan didn't work out. So plan B, which is just as good, was to stitch the center of the frame. I adhered that to my layout base with some foam squares, and then I matted my photo, which is 2 by 3 inches, to some white cardstock, and then adhered it over top of the frame. In my design over in Cricut Design Space, I had added some washi tape to the lower portion of the frame. There is actually a couple washi tape cut files on my Cricut. They are Halloween themed, but there's a couple different patterns and they don't necessarily have to be for Halloween. So I knew that I wanted to use washi tape, but I didn't actually want to cut washi tape from papers. So I pulled the very few washi tapes out of my stash that I had and settled on this striped one. The colors were the same colors as what I had used in the rest of the layout. I also matted it to some white cardstock just to help keep those colors vibrant and in the foreground so they don't just kind of fade into the background. But at this point, I decided that I didn't quite like that washi tape. Even though it was all the right colors, my gut was actually leaning towards this dark blue with the green polka dot in it. I should have used that to begin with. But of course I didn't listen to myself and ended up paying for it just a few minutes later. So I did the same thing. I added my washi tape to some scrap white cardstock, trimmed it down, and then I decided to tear the edges of the cardstock washi tape combo just to fit the whole like grunge theme in this layout. And I like this washi tape a lot better. I end up covering some of it later on in the video. I add a phrase sticker over top of it, but you'll see that in just a moment. I'm adding the title now, I used some foam squares that I trimmed in half to pop the title up just so that it was at the same level as everything else on the layout, because pretty well everything else was adhered with foam squares as well, including the mushrooms, both on the left and right hand sides of the layout. And so that my title didn't crater in the center, I added more foam squares just to keep them all level. I'm embellishing with a few die cut daisies actually that I cut with my Cricut. I do come in later on with some florals from Jen Hadfield's The Avenue collection and add a few of those to my layout as well. I added a stamped subtitle to my layout as well. So the title obviously is Laugh and the subtitle is Lots of Laughs. And then I'm going to use some white enamel dots to create like a ... theme thing before the Lots of Laughs. There, just a moment ago, you saw me playing around with some Pink Fresh Studio chipboard stickers, some flair. I pulled one of those into this layout as well. I'm so excited. I'm getting so close to finishing off that sheet. Yay, one more to go. And then I toyed with using some other Pink Fresh Studio sticker flair. You can see them to the left of the screen. They're quite large, they're circles. But I ended up not using the large one just because I thought it was a little too large, but I really liked the phrase in it, which was our squad, I think it said. And I thought it worked really well with my photo and actually the whole theme for this layout. This photo is a picture of my girls with one of their friends. And we were out at the acreage. Just playing, having a good time, visiting like we do. And I was just telling the story about how I'm so glad that the girls are friends with Andrea, even though in the beginning they were friends with her younger brother who is their age. And that's how I met their mom and we got to be friends. I did create a layout about her yesterday. So this is my BFF, FYI. And this is her oldest child. But my girls look up to her and they pretty well worship the ground that she walks on. So I just wanted to create a layout about that and how much they adore Andrea. So I've got my journaling added now as well. It's above the title and more towards the center of the layout base. And here's the florals that I mentioned a minute ago about the Jen Hadfield, The Avenue ephemera. I added those to the top left of the frame, just a couple flowers, and then I pull out a couple light pink ones after this green one gets glued. And that brings me pretty well to the end of this layout. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my layout. I hope you're staying cool. In my neck of the woods here, it's incredibly hot. And I have been hiding out in my basement for the last couple of days just to try and beat the heat. And scrapbooking while I'm at it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and a like. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. And if you are new to my channel and you haven't subscribed yet, maybe think about doing that. All you need to do is hit the little subscribe button and the little bell so that you can customize your notifications. Here's the close-ups. I will be back again soon with more creative inspiration. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be back again soon. Bye, friends.